Welcome back. Welcome back. Talking another season's grades video. Doing the LA Clippers, their season's effectively over and they're solidified in the 4-5 spot playing the Dallas Mavericks. We did a Mavericks video, so if you want to see what we talked about in that one, just as a little precursor to our series preview video coming out, go check that out. But before we start, quick word from our sponsors.
Yo, shout out Swish Rim. Swish Rim is sponsoring the podcast right now. This is the product right here. Use code TOT at checkout for 10% off. TOT at checkout for 10% off. Basically, you're going to put it up on the hoop. You got this little pole that comes with it as well. You hook it in right here. It's going to reduce the diameter of the rim and get you more dialed. If you're shooting on a smaller rim, then you go play on a bigger rim. Obviously, you're going to make more shots. So you just extend the pole, put it on up there, stick it on, and it stays on with this little rubber on the inside. It's a really good product, and we're happy to get behind it. You know, we're all shooters over here, and we want our subscribers to be shooters as well. So go check out Swish Rim, link in the description. Use code TOT for 10% off at checkout.
Facts. And it's not one of those things where you need to use a heavy ball or any of that shit. This is something that's actually going to help you and not mess up your jumper or anything like that. It's
great point, Matt. Heavy balls mess up your shot. Thank you.
So pay attention to that. But we're going to go through the top 7 guys for the Clippers and give them a season's grade. We're starting off with the big man himself, the robot, Kawhi Leonard. We're giving him an A- for his season. It's not his best season statistically out of his career or anything like that. I think based on expectations, he's been really, really good this season. Efficiency has been up. And, I mean, he's averaging 24, 3, and 6. So really good season. Don't get me wrong. This team was contending for the 1 seed for a while. I know he's been out as of late, getting some rest up before the playoffs. However, he's just getting an A- from us for this season so far. And what are your guys' thoughts on Kawhi so far?
Shout out to Claw, man.
7.62s like Kawhi Leonard, they'll rip him up. He's playing great defense this year. I did watch him sell against the Cavs live, so that's tough. But he's been playing really well. He's been efficient. He's been getting to his spots like he always does. He's kind of one of them guys where, like, I don't have him in my top. I don't even know if I have him in my top 10 anymore, maybe top 7 or whatever the deal is. But you're looking at me like I'm crazy over there, 12, and that's looking at me like that's the best thing I've ever said.
I think he's around top 15.
But I'm just saying he's a guy now where at his age and with his experience, we kind of know what we're going to get from him. Not going to be any big surprises. And as long as he does that and fills his role, then he's going to be super beneficial to whatever team he's on. So he's been doing a great job this year.
Yeah, and he's also, I mean, this team is loaded with 4 ex-superstars, and some of them are still, like Kawhi and Paul George, I think, are still in that superstar phase of their careers. Like, Kawhi's only in year 11, which is weird to think about because I feel like he's been around for as long as, like, Bron and all that, which is, like, weird. But, yeah, as Finn was saying, he's just a guy that gets to his spots. Like, you know what you're going to get from Kawhi every night, and you're going to get just – he's going to give you a couple middies. He's going to hit a couple threes. He's going to play really good defense. He's going to rebound and push. And he's going to close games for you. And that's all you can really ask. I know that this team is filled with all those ex-superstars, so you're going to have to take a back seat in some scenarios. But he's the clear lead dog on this team, and I just hope in the playoffs they can put up some good numbers. And I'm rooting for the Mavericks. Sorry, Clipper fans, but I think that this Clippers team, a few months ago, we were touting as the best team in the West and a real championship threat, and I just don't know if they're there anymore. Maybe that's because Kawhi's been out and we haven't really seen them at full strength, but Kawhi's getting an A- from us. Moving on to Paul George, averaging 22.8, 3.6 assists, and 5.3 rebounds in his 13th season. I think that Paul George also deserves an A-. I don't think it's been his most spectacular year ever, which is where we're throwing A-pluses around. And I think that based on what this team needs, Paul George has been that. I know his efficiency has been okay. It's not been the best of his career, but I mean, he's nearly a 50, 40, 90 guy. So 47% from the floor, 91 from free throw, and 41.2 from 3. Like, those are unbelievably good numbers. I think there's some moments where he goes small and the efficiency looks worse. And he's one of those guys that goes up and down. And we'll have a game where he shoots 65% and a game where he shoots 40%, which is why the average is around 47. I would personally like it to be a little more consistent for the course of the whole season. But, I mean, if you average it all out, I mean, it looks great. So Paul George is going to get an A-, but he's hasn't done anything truly wow factor, even though he did just poop on the Cavs the other night. But no, he's been really good, but not deserving of an A+.
Shout out Evan Mobley's ankles.
And bro, Jared Allen fell on top of game. That's my thing. Like, not only did he cross Evan up, but
Matt's getting so mad.
made
No,
JA fall on it.
The worst part was I was golfing during this game and I had it on my phone and I'm watching, and Paul George, there was a point where they were in the bonus with like 6-7 minutes left. They fouled him on the floor like 4 or 5 times in a row. I'm like, you can't give a guy like Paul George or any superstar 10 or 8 to 10 free throws in a row while they also shoot 90% from the line. Keep in mind.
He's savvy,
And then
though. He knows how to draw fouls.
True, I know, but I'm saying, and then get to that point and not have him. You like as soon as he touched the ball in that versus Evan Mobley, and I trust Evan Mobley defending anyone, but as soon as he touched it, I'm like, he's not gonna miss this shot. Like he's just not. Like you can't give him that many looks at the basket from free throws and not expect the guy to come out and start hitting fucking unbelievably good shots. And Paul George is one of my favorite players ever. So
made that boy touch earth. He's been playing great though. Like same thing with Kawhi, and I think this is going to be a common theme throughout this entire video. Like you kind of know what you're going to get with these guys. Paul George is a little bit more explosive than him, can have more explosive nights, I feel like, at this point in their careers, but like he's going to go out there and do his thing. Would you consider him the primary option?
PG?
No, I still think Kawhi is the primary option, but Kawhi's shot profile is very different than how he gets his shots than Paul George. Paul George gets a lot of either catch and shoots or he's going off the bounce and creating for himself, and he's not really passing it around a ton. While Kawhi can go and we'll see a double and swing it or rise up over the top. Well, Paul George is really, I know he shoots a decent amount of mid-ranges, but it's a lot of getting to the basket or three-pointers. So
he puts the pill in the hole, bro. He was doing it to Brandon Miller too, killing him.
True. You got to show the young man how it's done. But moving on to Terrence Mann, averaging 8.6 points, 1.6 assists, 3.4 rebounds in his 4th season. We're going to give him a B+. I don't think he's in the A category. I just don't think it was really possible for him to be in the A category based on how this roster is constructed. Just other guys we're going to get to, but Russ, Harden, Norman Powell, like it's a heavy guard room, and you're not going to be able to do a ton, especially with how talented those guys are. So the defense has still been there. The passing has been there in spurts, and he just makes the right basketball play. And that's something that the Clippers need. If you have 4 superstars on your team, you need a guy that's just going to be there, fill a role, and make the right play when it's needed. And Terrence Mann's done that. So he gets a B+.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, he's coming into his own as an NBA player, to be honest with you. He's another guy I think that can help on any.
Go ahead.
No, I wasn't.
No, I was just
he can help on any team.
Yeah, no. Once Russ and Harden, those guys start to fall off a little bit, and you'll really see him step up. Like he's had multiple games where he'll give you 15, 20 when you need it most. And I think as long as they can get 1 or 2 of those games from Terrence Mann come playoff time, it's going to play huge dividends for the Clippers. So if they can do that, then we'll keep moving. But moving on to Zubac. I know he missed some time in the middle of the season, but still one of those guys that is going to set you good screens. He's going to roll the right way. And I know there was some kinks to work out with Harden at the beginning of the season. I watched a couple episodes of someone's interview with one of those 2 guys, and he was saying how he likes to roll, all that stuff. And that's a big part of it. But this is a guy that when he touches the ball and puts a shot up, it's going in. He's top 4 in field goal percentage this season, and just like the little touch shots, he never misses. And that's just something you can have as a dependable guy. It's just going to be in the right space at the right time and just hit the shots when they're there for him. It's a guy you want. So he's going to get a A for this season. A-.
He's got Capella syndrome as well, where he's really adapted into a good roller, and he's a great defender. He can also score in the post and face up low key. He's a big body. He's strong as hell. This isn't his first year playing good basketball too. He's putting a nice career together for himself, low key. And this is what Harden does. He makes these big money.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Can roll, like y'all said, and big body. Always can use a big body, but because of his efficiency, I think that he carries a lot of gravity with him that, gets Paul George open for those catch and shoot opportunities, or the rest of the guys around him, can can look the dime on a roll. You know, if he does get the ball in the roll, can hit the corner or whatever. You know, so shout out to Zoo.
Yep.
Mute.
You're muted, Finn. Okay, moving on to the possible sixth man of the year.
Oh, it geeked. Good cutter, better rebounder, I said.
Oh, fact.
Yeah, no, he's definitely rebounding really well. He's always just in the right position, and that's all you can ask from a 5. Moving on to the possible sixth man of the year, we got Norman Powell. He's one of these guys that when you look at just the numbers, you're like, wow. He's averaging 14 points per game, 1 assist, and 2 rebounds. So he's putting the ball in the basket. That's what you want from your sixth man, quite frankly. But the difference in him and a lot of the other sixth man of the year candidates, which is why I think he's in that final 3 with Naz Reid and Malik Monk, is the efficiency. The guy's shooting almost 49% from the floor, 83% from the line, and 44% from 3. Like, if you're hitting 44% of your threes he's taken 381 threes this season. That's a ton of volume. And if you're being able to do that, and he's playing a lot in late game situations when they decide to go small and throw Kawhi or a PJ Tucker in at the 5 and you throw him in there, he's just making things happen. He's one of those guys that you just think of, you put him in, he's going to give you buckets, and that's all you can ask. So Norman Powell is going to get an A+ for us this season.
There's been multiple nights this year that he's picked up slack from those guys and hit big shots and hit a lot of them. And he's a guy who can low-key create on his own as well. He had a good game when I went out to Cleveland.
Shout out 24 Savage, man. Y'all know what it come down to.
But yeah, A+ for Norman Powell. Really, really good year. I'm excited to see the sixth man of the year battle coming into I don't know if Tim Hardaway's really in it anymore, but the sixth man battle between Tim Hardaway and Norman Powell. But moving on to the other bench player, Russell Westbrook. Having a quieter season than we're typically used to from Russ, but I mean, he's playing around 24 minutes a night. So based on that, think of his MVP season, drop those numbers in half. 11 points per game, 4.6 assists, 5.1 rebounds. Just one of those guys that you know is going to be dependable. He's going to be a little out of control at times, and you're going to be like, what the fuck was that? But the biggest thing for me is the 3-point shooting's been a little low. So Russ is going to get a B for his season so far. I think he's good in moments, and when you need him to step up when a guy's out, he can tap back into the prime Russ and really give it to you. Like just the other night, he had a triple-double, and when Harden was out. So this is a guy that we know what he's about, and he's going to give you a game in the playoffs where he gives you 20, 10, and 10. Like he's just going to give you something close to that come playoff time. But over the course of the season, it's been a little up and down, but I think Russ has been good overall.
He said it himself a couple days ago. Best bench player in the league.
Not even best bench player on his team. Norman Powell's better than him now.
Hey, he said it. He said it, not me.
There's a lot of people better than some people that are coming off the bench for the Clippers. But
enough with the Bones. Bones Highland is tough. He's tough, but he's not better than Russ.
39.
You are a Bones
39.
one Bones hater. It's okay.
I'm not a Bones
Russ is
hater.
doing
I'm
great
just a
things, and you can't say, although his numbers have taken a dip, it's the Jaylen Brown situation where he's taking an intentional backseat and he's filling his role. He's playing great.
Because of the beard and because of Ty Lue. It ain't got nothing to do with his game. That boy, he better than Terrence Howard, Terrence Crawford, Terrence whoever, man. That he better than all them cats. I know that's his teammates and I know his family and I know his chemistry, but I think that he is able to provide, I would say, a lot more efficiency on the
about Russ or Bones Highland?
Bones.
Whoa.
We'll talk to Bones at the end. Russ isn't giving you efficiency. But
I was talking about Russ.
Okay,
I was talking about Bones.
But no, Bones has had a good game the other night.
Oh, save it for the end. Stay to the end so you guys can hear us talking about Bones.
Okay. And last guy, talking about James Harden, averaging 16.7, 8.6 assists, 5.2 rebounds. We're going to give him an A-. I think we thought coming into the season he was definitely going to be out of Philly. We didn't know where, so he comes to the Clippers. And this is really the first kind of time, I feel like, I guess maybe in Philly, but where it didn't have to be the James Harden show. And I think that's been really good for the Clippers, especially over the first three.
Brooklyn.
He was still doing
No,
James Harden.
No. 20 assists a night. Go ahead though.
Okay. But no, he was always getting assists. It's just a matter of how they came. The ball was still always in James Harden's hands, and it still is now for the most part. But I think it's different when a guy is going and giving you 8 assists while also giving you 17 points later in their career when you're surrounded by other superstars that need the ball in their hands. I think that's the most important thing. So James Harden's going to get an A-. I think he's had a really good season, and I just hope that he can pull together some games come playoff time where we can see some absolute battles versus the Mavericks.
He's been great, man. He's a guy who, obviously, he's a hothead. Like, you can still trust him with the rock, though, and great decision maker, can still go get a bucket by himself, can still pick it up in the clutch if he needs to go, and he'll go. Like, he makes big money, like I said earlier, bro. He got everybody a bag who he plays with, all these pick and roll bigs. Love his game. As he's matured throughout his career, I think this is my favorite version. Like, this Nets, 100%, bro.
You didn't like watching Houston James Harden?
No, because I knew it wasn't sustainable and didn't result in winning. And I know he hasn't won anything anywhere else.
Yes, it did.
Oh, really? Would they win?
They went to the conference finals more than he did anywhere else when he wasn't playing like that, according to you. Just saying.
Nah, that's a big cap again. He got the hat on stiff.
That's not cap.
In my personal opinion, he is a point guard, a facilitator who can score. That's what he always should have been. I understand that he had the best offensive statistical season ever, and eye test-wise, it was unbelievable. And I'm not hating on it. I loved it. But I love watching him go get 23 assists. Like, that shit gets me fired up, dude. He's a great passer, and he's so dense. And, like, the way he takes bumps, and I just like watching him when he plays that way better. I think it's more fun to watch.
You know, that's fair. I just hope that the efficiency goes up a little bit. He's only shooting 43% from the floor. So as long as he can bump that up come playoff time and just can finish around the rim and draw some more fouls like we're used to seeing from Harden, then he's going to be fine and this team's going to be fine. It's just a matter of what are we going to get from these guys? Because there's a lot of guys on this team that go up and down like roller coasters. And I think the only real steady one consistently is Kawhi Leonard. And we'll see come playoff time. But that's it for the season's grades for the Clippers.
Whoa.
Okay, we can talk
Look
about
at that guy. He hater.
This video's going on long here. It's going on long.
And shout out to Busy. That's all we'll say. You know, faithful. Y'all know we respect hoopers. We love hoopers, purebred hoopers. And Busy is one of those cats. He just showed you the other night, 39. And just flat out phenomenal. I'll give him an A for his time, you know, on the Clippers being played by T. Lue. When T. Lue is playing him, I think that he definitely shows up when Russ wasn't on the floor. So I'll just leave it at that.
Give him love?
Yeah.
Tough. Shout out Busy. We're a busy podcast. Always have been, always will be. A+ for me for the year. Give him more burn.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.